غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم. الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياؤهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم. الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياؤهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم. لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي فمن يكفر بالطاغوت ويؤمن بالله فقد استمسك بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله سميع عليم الله ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياؤهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات أولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون.
الله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. عدد ما علم الله وزنة ما علم الله وملء ما علم الله. عدد ما علم الله وزنة ما علم الله وملء ما علم الله. عدد ما علم الله وزنة ما علم الله وملء ما علم الله. تبرأت من حولي وقوتي وألجأت إلى حول الله وقوته في جميع أموري. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ونبيك وحبيبك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ونبيك وحبيبك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ونبيك وحبيبك ورسولك النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم. اللهم اغفر لي ولوالدي وارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. واغفر لي اللهم لجميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اغفر لي ولوالدي وارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. واغفر لي اللهم لجميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اغفر لي ولوالدي وارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. واغفر لي اللهم لجميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم يا رب افعل بي وبهم عاجلا واجلا في الدين والدنيا والآخرة ما أنت له أهل ولا تفعل بنا يا مولانا ما نحن له أهل إنك غفور حليم جواد كريم ملك رؤوف رحيم. اللهم يا رب افعل بي وبهم عاجلا واجلا في الدين والدنيا والآخرة ما أنت له أهل ولا تفعل بنا يا مولانا ما نحن له أهل إنك غفور حليم جواد كريم ملك رؤوف رحيم. اللهم يا رب افعل بي وبهم عاجلا وآجلا في الدين والدنيا والآخرة ما أنت له أهل ولا تفعل بنا يا مولانا ما نحن له أهل إنك غفور حليم جواد كريم ملك رؤوف رحيم.
اللهم اهدني برحمتك يا نافع ورافع توفني مسلما وألحقني بالصالحين. اللهم اهدني برحمتك يا نافع ورافع وألحقني بالصالحين. اللهم اهدني برحمتك يا نافع ورافع توفني مسلما وألحقني بالصالحين. يا جبار 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 يا قاضي الحاجات يا قاضي الحاجات يا قاضي الحاجات يا قاضي الحاجات يا دافع البليات يا دافع البليات يا دافع البليات يا حل المشكلات يا حل المشكلات، يا شافي الأمراض، يا شافي الأمراض، يا شافي الأمراض، يا أرحم الراحمين، يا أرحم الراحمين، يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم آمين، اللهم آمين، اللهم آمين، اللهم آمين. صلى الله على محمد وسلم، صلى الله على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وسلم، صلى الله على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وسلم. إن شاء الله العظيم. By the Qudrat of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, we'll move on to the zikr of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. But it's important, we have to mention this weekly, that let's fill the gaps in this mahafil. We, in a situation where if we have a disability, it's totally understandable for us to lean on the wall. If we have some spinal issues, then it's understandable. Atte katte jawan ho to phir bhi ab wall pe, you know, Allah make us healthy that we don't need the wall at this age. अगर इस उम्र में हमें इतनी दीवार की ज़रूरत पड़े तो 50-60 साल में हमें क्या होगा? So if we need the wall so much at this young age in the 20s, 30s, then imagine what will be our situation when we are 40 and 50-year-old. So if we can, inshallah azim, those who need it, those who have some difficulty, more than welcome, no problem at all. But if someone has no difficulty and no problems, then it's better for them to come and complete the mahfil, inshallah azim. So it's very important. Or jo bhi hamare buzurg, in the small request, those on the chairs, if they can come slightly forward as well, inshallah, then they can participate. Udhar se Khan Sahab nazar nahi aa rahe na. Khan Sahab bahut dur hai. We want to do the ziyarat of the buzurg. It's a blessing for us to look at the buzurg and the older community. But from there I can't see you. I want to get the blessings from you as well, inshallah. Jazakallah, Jazakallah. और हमारे नदीम साहब भी गुम हो गए हैं, वो पता है कैमरा का मसला हुआ है, तो इस तरफ दीवार पे आ जाएं. ज़रूरी आपको हम देखें महफिल के दौरान, इधर इस दीवार पे आ जाएं. This is important. Inshallah, from next week, the team will engage with you in the same way that I just have, inshallah. And then we can get all the brothers and everyone sitting as close as possible so we can enjoy the mahafil, inshallah al-azim. Jazakallah khair. And now this way, when we sit like this, then the people who come late, they can read their salah without disturbance. Normally in half of the mehfil, salah is being read. People are sitting on the wall and here, and then people are reading namaz in between. Like this, we cordon off the end, then people can read salah at the end as well if they come. So no disturbance to anyone, inshallah. And hopefully the sisters can sit in the same sort of way, inshallah, together and participate in the mehfil and the zikr of Allah, because we are all in need of the zikr of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. صلى الله على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وسلم. وسلم. لا إله إلا الله، 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 لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم يا الله 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 the most kind يا رحمن يا رحمن إلا رحمن يا رحمن يا رحمن يا رحمن يا الله the merciful يا رحيم يا رحيم يا رحيم يا الله رحيم يا رحيم يا رحيم يا رحيم يا الله جليل يا جليل يا جليل يا جليل يا الله the majestic يا جليل يا يا جليل يا الله the gentle يا حليم يا حليم يا حليم يا الله حليم يا حليم يا حليم يا حليم يا الله غفار يا غفار يا غفار يا غفار غفار يا غفار يا غفار يا غفار يا الله سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا الله سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا سلام يا الله 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 الله يا الله يا صلى الله على محمد وسلم صلى الله على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وسلم صلى الله على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وسلم. Inshallah, for a few verses, we'll give the mic to Hafiz Osman Sahib, inshallah, for Naat Sharif, and then we'll move on with the program.
صلی اللہ علیہ یا رسول اللہ وسلم علیک یا حبیب اللہ. سب مل کر پڑھیے صلی اللہ علیہ یا رسول اللہ وسلم علیک یا حبیب اللہ. دو تین اشعار پنجابی نعت کے ہیں, مل کر پڑھ لیے. سبحان اللہ 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 سبحان اللہ. مکھ چند بد شاشانی مت چمک دلات نورانی کلی زلف اک مستانی ہے مخمور اکھین مدبریاں. سبحان اللہ سبحان اللہ سبحان اللہ سبحان اللہ. اس صورت نو میں جانا کھا کے جانے جہانا جانا کھا کے جانے جہانا سچ آنکھاں رب دی میں شان آنکھاں جس شان تو شان سب بڑیاں. سبحان اللہ سبحان اللہ سبحان اللہ سبحان اللہ سبحان اللہ ما اجمل کا ما احسن کا ما اکمل کا ما احسن کا ما اکمل کا. کتھے میرے علی کتھے تیری ثنا کتھے میرے علی کتھے تیری ثنا مشتاق اکھیاں کتھے جاریاں. سبحان اللہ 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 سبحان اللہ.
MashaAllah, subhanallah, inshallah we'll recite a few verses of Qasida Burda and then we move on inshallah. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulallah. It's important that everyone joins in inshallah al-azim. Everyone should read together inshallah. Brothers and the sisters, everyone is in need of this. That is why we have got separate halls here. The brothers are sitting here, the sisters are sitting in the other hall. Because if the sister recites, it's impermissibility and impermissible for the man to hear the voice of the sister. But there is no cause of this, no problem. The sisters are sitting alone and there's only sisters around the sisters. So the sisters should recite in their hall as well. The brothers should recite in their hall. Everyone together, inshallah. Sallallahu alayka ya Rasulallah. وسلم عليك يا حبيب الله. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خلقي كلهم مولاي صل دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم يوم Lord send peace and blessings on your beloved, the best and perfect creation that you've created. Mawlaya الخلق كلهم تاج والوں کے سروں پر پائیں اقدس آپ کے میں بھی چوموں گا پیمبر پائیں اقدس آپ کے مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير كلهم تیری نسل پاک میں ہے بچہ بچہ نور کا تیری نسل پاک میں ہے بچہ بچہ نور کا تو ہے عین نور تیرا سب گھرانہ نور کا مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير شمع دل مشکات تنسینا زجاجہ نور کا تیری صورت کے لیے آیا ہے سورہ نور کا مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم آپ کے قدموں کے نیچے نرم پتھر ہو گئے کیا کہوں اللہ اکبر پائے اقدس آپ کے مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق. Why we say the Naat is a translation of Quran al-Kareem? We all read the surahs in Quran. Yes, Alif, Lam, Mim, Taha. Everyone has read this. Yes, Kaf, Ha, Ya, Ain, Sad, Kaf, Ha, Ya, Ain, Sad. What does the Shair say? What is the description of this? He says, Kaf ke suhad han ya abru aankhe ain sad Kaf ha ya ain sad صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. There is no one like you, there is no one who's the same. So merciful is your nature and so high is your name. Mawlaya salli wa sallim. Inshallah, I'll read one verse and then pass to Afan Sahib, inshallah, because we have just traveled from such a spiritual journey in Baghdad Sharif, in Najib Sharif, in Karbala Sharif. And I will read a verse in respect of this, inshallah. سرکار غوث اعظم نظر کرم خدا را سرکار غوث اعظم نظر کرم خدا را میرا خالی کا صبر دو میں فقیر ہوں تمہارا جولی کو میری بردو ورنہ کہے گی دنیا غوث الورا کا منگتا پھرتا ہے مارا مارا سرکار غوث اعظم نظر کرم سب کا کوئی نہ کوئی دنیا میں آسرا ہے میرا بجز تمہارے کوئی نہیں سہارا سرکار غوث اعظم نظر کرم خدا را یہ عطائے دستگیری یہ عطائے دستگیری کوئی میرے دل سے پوچھے وہی آ گئے مدد کو میں نے جب جہاں پکارا سرکار غوث اعظم نظر کرم خدا مولا علی کا صدقہ ابن علی کا صدقہ مولا علی کا صدقہ خواجہ پیا کا صدقہ مولا علی کا صدقہ گنج شکر کا صدقہ میری لاج رکھ لو یا غوث میں فقیر ہوں تمہارا سرکار غوث اعظم نظر کرم خدا را انشاءاللہ بھون نات شریف کو لکھیں دعوت حافظ افان صاحب انشاءاللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم
رسول اللہ وسلم علیک یا محبوب کی محفل کو محبوب سجاتے ہیں آتے ہیں وہی جل کو سرکار بلاتے ہیں مل کے کہ یہ سب کو یہ نعت آتی ہے مل کے آتے ہیں وہی جل کو سرکار بیمارو ذرا جانا دربار محمد میں بیمارو ذرا جانا دربار محمد میں وہ جام شفا اب بھی بھر بھر کے پلاتے ہیں، وہ جام شفا اب بھی بھر پلاتے ہیں، آتے ہیں وہی اور بولا اس آس پہ جیتا ہوں، کہہ دے یہ کوئی آ کر، اس آس پہ جیتا ہوں، کہہ دے یہ کوئی آ کر، چل تجھ کو مدینے میں سرکار بلاتے ہیں، چل تجھ کو مدینے میں سرکار، اور جس کا بڑی دنیا میں کوئی بھی نہیں والی، اس کو میرے آقا سینے سے لگاتے ہیں، اور آقا کی ثنا در اصل عبادت ہے، آقا کی ثنا خوانی در اصل عبادت ہے، ہم نعت کی صورت میں قرآن سنا، اللہ کے خزانوں کے مالک ہے نبی سرور، یہ سچ ہے نیازی ہم سرکار کا کھاتے.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, SubhanAllah, Inshallah al-Azim. We won't read another manqabat, but just ending in the remembrance of the Ahlul Bayt. The Shair says, ہزاروں میں وہ 72 تن تھے تسلیم و رضا والے، حقیقت میں خدا ان کا تھا اور یہ تھے خدا والے. He speaks about Imam Hussein and he says, Hussein ibn Ali, people say that we couldn't help, what could we do? The Shair says, Hussein ibn Ali کی کیا مدد کر سکتا تھا کوئی، وہ خود مشکل کشا اور تھے مشکل کشا والے. الحمدللہ الحمدللہ نحمدہ و نصلی علی رسولہ الکریم. اما بعد فاعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. الا للہ الدین الخالص والذین اتخذوا من دونه اولیاء. صدق اللہ العظیم وصدق رسولہ النبی الامین الکریم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاہدین والشاکرین والحمد للہ رب العالمین. All praise are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the cherisher and the sustainer of the universe. Peace, salutations and salawat upon his noblest prophet Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who was sent down to this universe as a rahmatan lil alameen. All praise are due to Allah, the cherisher and the sustainer of the universe. Peace, salutations be upon his noblest prophet Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Many shukr to Allah who has allowed us to be here on the starting of Yawm al-Jum'ah. And for those that could not make it due to any difficulties, may Allah make it easy for them. Due to any illnesses, may Allah grant them shifa kamila. And if they have left this dunya, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen thumma ameen. Inshallah Lazim, those who have seen the posters and they know the lecture topic today that we promised to start after the Yarwi Sharif month and after Rabiul Awal, it is the topic of Ikhlas. Does everyone know what the meaning of Ikhlas is? This is important. Ikhlas. Everyone knows the meaning of Ikhlas? Bata de. Tell me, whoever knows. Sincerity. Yes, it is sincerity. So according to Quran, if you ask someone about Ikhlas, the first thing they will say Surah Ikhlas. So Surah Ikhlas, definitely it is in regards to the oneness of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, telling us khulus and ikhlas. But inshallah we will go in depth inshallah over 2 weeks. It's important, the brothers and sisters, if we do not participate and listen to the lecture, then we are not coming here and benefiting as much as we should benefit. You're still not wasting time. You're still in the zikr of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, so it's not a waste of time. But you're not benefiting as much as you should. So the team puts in work to give these lectures. It's not a task of just coming here. The great ulama, they compile these lectures. Our shuyukh, they compile these lectures, hours and hours of work. Then they give it to us. Then we study the lectures. Then we learn the lectures. Even this lecture we were studying in the aeroplane. I was studying this, and in Baghdad Sharif as well. We should make sure that it is ready for Thursday. When the community comes, they can learn about Ikhlas. So it's no point that if we just sit here and we don't take it away. We need to understand, we need to learn. We will give as much as time, our lives for the deen of Islam, but it's important that everyone learns as well. So everyone benefits each other, inshallah. So inshallah Lazim, today, as I mentioned, I intend to speak about the greatest secret. This is what it is. It is the greatest secret between the Creator and the creation. The action of the creation, so our action, which only Almighty Allah and the creation, us, know about it. That's it. And that is what is sincerity. It is something that the action of the makhluk, the creation of Allah, and the Creator only know. That is it. And that is what is sincerity. So inshallah we'll discuss that what sincerity is and why it is so integral to our lives, and how can we achieve sincerity. This is what we need to know. It's going to go over 2 weeks inshallah, but we will complete this before inshallah at the end of the month. We are due to go to South Africa for graduation, so before that inshallah we'll complete this and start the next topic inshallah Lazim. So sincerity, ikhlas, is mentioned in Quran on many occasions, and essentially if you summarize sincerity, what is sincerity? It is the absence of deceit, fraud and hypocrisy. If you don't have this, this is part of sincerity. And it is the most inner part of the heart. It is the most middle part of the heart. It is your most private and your pure thoughts. It's not the thoughts that you show everyone. It's the most private, the most pure thoughts or feelings. It is, as I said, it's something that it is very difficult to put in words. Sincerity and ikhlas is believe me, if it's that hard to put it in words, imagine how hard it is to study and deliver a lecture. I've been doing it for the last 5 days and I know, but it's such an important topic. That is why we have to understand what it is. It is like a feeling for another person. If they do something, you will either know whether that person is sincere or not. And that is what it is. It is something, it is a feeling, it is something from the inner part of the heart. And however, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is clear in Quran al-Kareem about Allah's expectations from the creation. Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Zumar, that Allah lillahi ad-deenul khalis walladhina ittaqadhu min dunihi awliya. So Allah mentions that remember that sincere obedience is exclusively only to Allah alone. Sincere obedience with ikhlas, sincerity is only to Allah alone. And then our great Imam Mujaddid ad-Din Millat Rahbar Shariat, Imam Ahmed Rida Khan Bireli Rahmatullah Alayh, states in the tafsir of this ayat, and he says the acceptable worship, the worship that could be accepted, is that ibadah that is done sincerely. That is only the ibadah that has a chance of being accepted. Imam Ahmed Rida Khan says that the chance of the ibadat, acceptable ibadah, is that is done with sincerity. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned there are 3 things which, if you follow these 3 things, it prevents your heart from being unfaithful. Remember, trying to achieve sincerity, you have to be faithful. If you want ikhlas, khulus, then you have to be faithful. So if you're unfaithful, you can't become sincere. So now we established that you have to be faithful to be sincere. So Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam has mentioned 3 things which prevent the heart from being unfaithful. So if your heart is going to be unfaithful, there's 3 things Aqa alayhi salatu wasalam has said that these 3 things will stop your heart from being unfaithful. And Aqa alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned, is saying being sincere to Allah in all of your actions. In every action, be sincere to Allah. It doesn't matter what the action is, be sincere to Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, and counseling those people who are in power. Those people who are in power have good statuses, have good money, have a lot of money. Normally, whenever they say something, we say done. Those people who are in power, what happens? Why is Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said this? Because those people who are in power, when they say, yeah, this is done, this is done, this is done, this Islam is like this, we agree with them because they are in power. So the Prophet ﷺ said, go and counsel those people in power. Go and counsel them. Tell them, no, this is how it is. This is how it is. This is a way of getting an unfaithful heart. And then holding on to the community of Muslims. Giving dawah. Bringing them, especially our dawah team that gives dawah every week. They invite people. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned, to have a faithful heart, one should hold on to the community of Muslims. Give them dawah. Bring them in. Tell them to come to Islam. Bring them to Islam. وَتَوَاسَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاسَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, where Surah Asr mentions that bring them to haqq. Bring them to the path of haqq. And Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam mentions, this is how you start sincerity of as well. So now, after listening to this, we've realized a few things. That if we want our ibadah to have even the slightest chance of being accepted, the prerequisite for this is that it is encompassed by sincerity. Your ibadah is completely encompassed with sincerity, with ikhlas, with khulus, with sincerity. Sheikh Abu Ali al-Daqqaq rahimahumullah says, sincerity means making Allah Almighty the sole object of one's ibadah. The Shaykh mentions, he says, sincerity is making Allah the sole object of one ibadah, leaving all the dunya out when it comes to ibadah. Leave everything out. Only... They can tell them to me. Jazakallah khair. So making Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the sole object of one ibadah. So sincerity is protect one in terms of if you're doing ibadah for someone to see, this is not sincere. If you're doing ibadah, nowadays, if you see, a good example is the days that we are in now. We live in the days of social media. And social media can be used for good, or it could be used for evil. But however, it is also used to show how people spend their lives. What people do socially, what people do in their homes, what people have, how rich they are, how much mal they have. This is social media. And some people in some states, they go so much in terms of giving charity, social media, doing ibadah, social media, going hajj, umrah, social media. But they come to such a point where the main part, the core of the ibadah, like doing the sujood, they make sure that is captured on the camera properly. Ji? And then they go and check how many likes, how many people are watching my video, how many people have liked that I've done sajda and I'm reading Subhan Rabbil Ala, how many people, they carry on going on their followers, they go, carry on going and checking. This doesn't look like it's sincere ibadah. This doesn't look like it's sincere, out of sincerity. That person who doesn't pray, no salah, that person, but one ibadah he does, he will make sure everyone knows about it. So this doesn't look like, maybe they are still doing it out of sincerity, but it's important that we understand that, are we showing the whole dunya, what is the reason for it? Is it to boost our ego, to tell people that, look, we are rich, to tell people, look, I'm doing ibadah, I'm reading salah today? Is this the reason? And numerous occasions people are posting, we accept that there are some occasions. This is accepted by everyone, that there are some occasions where it's necessary that you post on social media for motivating people towards the deen of Islam, or in some situations like here at the TDM we have to demonstrate what our organization is doing for the betterment of humanity. That's a good way you're using social media. But some of it we are not doing no ibadah, and we have hypocrisy. If we have hypocrisy in our hearts that we're just putting this and we're not doing nothing, we're just showing the people that we're doing some ibadah, then this reminds me of the saying where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned that this is what the hypocrites would do. In the time of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, the munafiqun, they would read 3 salah, Zuhr, Asr and Maghrib. They would read Zuhr, Asr and Maghrib. And why ask why? What is the reason they are reading Zuhr, Asr and Maghrib? It was because at this time, people can see them. So they would come to read these 3 salah because they are in the day, and then people praise them. Wow, mashallah, you are reading salah. So the real people who are not munafiqun, who are not hypocrites, are the one who go in the middle of the night and they read the Fajr and Isha salah. This is a sign of not munafiq, when you read your Fajr and Isha salah. So it's important that we do good for the sake of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, and we need to understand what is it that we are trying. Are we trying to showcase our deeds to others? If we are putting on social media, we need to ask ourselves, what are we doing? Today in the masajid, people get angry. They donate £5, £10, £15. Not here much, but if you go up north, you will see it. That on Jummah, there's a long list. They announce, Jodi Sahab gave £5, Qibla Sahab gave £11, his brother gave £6 today, Jummah. It happens up north. But the bad thing is that people, some situation, they get so angry where they start to swear at the Imam that, why did you not mention my name today? I gave donation. So what are they doing this for? Are they doing this for the mentioning, or are they doing this to out of sincerity, of ikhlas or khulus? What are they doing it for? They haven't studied Deen of Islam. The Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, it is narrated that Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala an mentioned that there was one man once. This is sincerity. This is sincerity, what I'm going to tell you now. Not that we give £5 or £6, we make sure that we need it there in the masjid. Mention my name, I've given the money. This is important. We understand what is sincerity. Because this, when you do this, then it gives a chance of feeling good about it. And when you feel good about it, that is when it causes problems. That is when Satan attacks us inside. This is lacking sincerity, lacking ikhlas. Nabi alayhi salatu wasallam, Sayyidina Abu Hurairah narrates that a man once, he decided that he was going to go out today and he was going to give charity. And that was his niyyah, I'm going to give charity today. So he went outside and he gave charity to someone on the road, and he went home. Later on, the community started talking. They said that this person has given charity to a thief. How can he give charity to a thief? He didn't know, he wasn't aware. So he went and he sat at home and he made dua. And he said that, Ya Allah, praise be to you. It was given to a thief. I didn't know. Next day he went out and he said to Allah in the dua, I will give more charity tomorrow. He went out and he gave charity again. He saw a woman on the street and he gave charity to a woman. Later on, he hears in the community that everyone is talking that this person has gone and given charity to a prostitute. He says, Ya Allah, praise be to you. Even it was to a prostitute, he didn't have no ilm. But he said, I will go out tomorrow and give charity again. He didn't stop and start fighting with those people that are talking like this. He said, I will go out again. The next day he went out, he gave charity, he gave it to a person he saw on the road. The community started talking. They said, he's went and given charity to a rich person. How is this? Who does he think he is? He said, Ya Allah, praise be to you. Subhanallah. I'm just trying to, I don't want to put it in my own words. I want to put it in the exact words. This is Sahih Bukhari Hadith. So that's why I'm just looking to make sure. He said, Oh Allah, praise be to you for the prostitute, the thief, and the rich man. And a short while later, the Hadith mentions, a message was sent to him. O man, as for your charity, it is accepted. As for the prostitute, perhaps she may stop committing zina. As for the thief, perhaps he may stop stealing. And as for the rich person, perhaps he will learn a lesson and will spend from that which Allah has given to him. Subhanallah. This is what it is about. He gave the charity with sincerity, with ikhlas, despite him giving it apparently to the wrong people. Despite him giving to the wrong people, to the thief, to the prostitute, to the rich person. Despite that, all his charity was accepted because he done it out of sincerity. Because he done it out of ikhlas. Because he had sincerity in him. So Imam Qushayri in his Risala states that according to the authentic tradition, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, sincerity is the greatest mystery that I have deposited into the hearts of those servants that I love. So know if you are a sincere person, then Allah loves you. Imagine this. Allah has put this greatest mystery in those hearts, only those hearts that Allah loves. So if we are sincere, then Allah loves us. So this is why if we are not, we need to work on our sincerity. Sincerity relates direct to your intentions. And so many ahadith, the compilation of Imam Nawawi mentions in his 40 ahadith compilation, he mentioned that Sayyidina Umar Khattab radiallahu ta'ala an heard Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam saying, Innamal amalu bin niyat, that every action is counted by your intentions. And it went on in Bukhari and Muslim mention, but the hadith that is mentioned here, it is so powerful that the ulama, say that it is desired to be in every single book that begins with Islam. It should be in that hadith. So Imam Bukhari rahimahullah commences his Sahih tradition, his Sahih hadith. You've heard the name of Imam Bukhari. So Imam Bukhari commences his hadith book with this hadith, and he mentions in it, he says that everything that is done without the desire of Almighty Allah. Imam Bukhari rahimahullah mentions this in the opening of his book, and he says it should be in every book. He said every single action, even if it's reading salah, speaking to your family, going to your office, working, driving your car, he said everything that is done not desiring the Almighty Allah's pleasure, if it's not for the pleasure of Almighty Allah, it is invalid and it bears no fruits in the dunya and in the akhirah. Imagine this. Anything that is done for not the pleasure of Almighty Allah. And it is related not only Sahih al-Bukhari, but Imam al-Shafi'i rahimahumullah also said that this hadith constitutes 1/3 of the entire knowledge of Islam. This hadith, the balance of this hadith constitutes to 1/3 of all the knowledge you can get. Our intention behind all our actions is so important that the intention determines our level of sincerity. Our intention determines that how are we going to do this. We make the intention before. One of the friends of Almighty Allah was once asked, and this is the reward of being sincere. We will speak about how to be sincere, the points of how to gain sincerity, to how to do an ikhlas test on ourselves, but we will go over this week and next week. If we want to learn, we will come next week. And if we don't want to be selfish and we want to go with Jannah with everyone, then we'll invite all our brothers and sisters next week as well, inshallah. A man of Allah, Ahlullah, he was once asked, and he said, have you ever had a situation like this with you? And what did he say? He said, one time I lost my purse in Makkatul Mukarramah. Now listen carefully. For those people who want to know the reward of sincerity, what is the reward of sincerity? He said, I lost my purse in Makkatul Mukarramah, and I was expecting some money from Basra, but somehow it failed to arrive. Allahu alam, I don't know how it failed to arrive. My hair and beard have grown very long. So I went to the barber and I said to the barber, can you please cut my hair and my beard? Remember, his money is lost. It didn't come from Basra. And he was an Ahlullah. He was a man of Allah. He was an awliya Allah. He went to this person and he said to the barber, please cut my hair for the sake of Allah. He had nothing. So the barber at that point, he was cutting someone's hair. And he apologized to that person. And he said, can you sit here? And he started cutting this person's hair that has no money. So this person, he got upset. He said, look, why you've moved me there? I'm here, I'm sitting here and I'm getting my haircut, but you've taken that person and you've cut his hair. What is the reason? So the barber said, look, I've extended my apologies to you. I was shaving you for a fee, for some money, but this person I am shaving for the sake of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. So I had to take him first. And then this person, he gave priority to him and he said, look, the servants can never know the price of things that are done for the sake of Almighty Allah. There is no price. Anything done for the sake of Almighty Allah, you can never repay that as well. You can never repay that price that something is done for Allah Almighty. And after he shaved the Ahlullah, the man of Allah, the awliya Allah, he shaved him, the barber slipped a few pieces of gold in his pocket and he said, you can attend to your immediate needs and this is all I have, I'm sorry. So he cut his hair for free for the sake of Allah and he put some gold in his pocket and he said, whatever you need to do immediately, you can do it. That's all I have, I'm sorry. A few days passed. The money that he was waiting there, this is the Ahlullah, the man of Allah, he is speaking. And he said that I was waiting and from Basra my money had arrived. So I took a small pouch of gold. I took a small bit of gold. This tells us the reward of ikhlas. Maybe in dunya, if you cut in someone's hair and you're leaving the one with the money and you've done one for the sake of Allah, you might think, oh, it doesn't give me business, it doesn't give me mal, it doesn't give my family money. How is it going to do? Because we don't have the yaqeen in ikhlas. We don't have the yaqeen in sincerity. Sincerity is so beautiful. After he got the pouch of gold and this person took it to the barber, and the barber then objected to the pouch of gold. He said, no. He said, I can't take this. He goes, I will never take it. He goes, try as much as you want. I will never take it. None of the slaves of Almighty Allah can ever have the ability to pay for a price for a task that is done for the sake of Almighty Allah. It can never be paid for. And he told this man of Allah, he said, now be on your way. May Allah give you peace. He said, but I can't take it. You can never repay something that is done for the sake of Allah. The man of Almighty Allah said, the man that got his free haircut for the sake of Allah, and the man, remember, he was a man of Almighty Allah, he was the friend, he was an awliya Allah. He got his job done at that time, his hair was cut, he went to give gold, he didn't accept. The Baba said, no, that was for the sake of Allah. That can never be repaid. The man said that when he went back to his house, and he had left there, he had made amends and he accepted that, look, now I have to leave here, he's not accepting the money. He said, I left from that place, but for 40 years from now, I have been waking up in the middle of every night and I have been praying for that Baba. For 40 years I have been waking up every single night and I have made dua for that Baba. And that was the reward of someone who does something only for the sake of Allah Almighty Allah. That is the reward of ikhlas. That is the reward of sincerity. His actions were pure. His actions were sincere. And as a result of that, he had Ahlullah. He had an awliya Allah. He had the friend of Allah. He had the man of Allah making dua for him for 40 years in the middle of every single night. Now do we see the reward of ikhlas? Do we see the reward of sincerity? Shaykh al-Misri rahimahullah said, sincerity is only perfected by being truthful. Sincerity can only be perfected by being truthful. As for truthfulness, it is only perfected by being sincere and constantly sincere. They both work together. So it's a very common question now people would ask, and this is very important. I want everyone to listen. It's so beautiful, it's so small, but if you listen carefully, you will understand. It's so small, but the great Sheikh Abu Yaqub al-Susi, he tells us, he summarizes it, and he says a very common question. Now you're going to ask me this as well, so before you ask me, I will tell you. He says, a very common question, how do I know if I'm being sincere or not? Yes, we need to know, right? How does one know if they're being sincere? How do I know if I'm being sincere? How do we know? So the beautiful Sheikh Abu Yaqub al-Susi, he says that as long as people notice their sincerity in their sincerity. So he says, as long as people notice sincerity in their sincerity is in need of sincerity. You do understand? So as long as someone notices that today, if you be sincere, and you've noticed that, look, today I have been with ikhlas, today I think I have been sincere. He said, if you notice your sincerity, then your sincerity is still in need of sincerity. It's not enough. When you stop noticing you have been sincere, that is sincerity. Abhi samajh aa gaya na? So the first time you didn't say, but now you understand. Such a beautiful saying, he said. So sincerity is leaving all matters to Almighty Allah. Everything, you have to have full reliance in Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. Allah mentions in Quran, Allah says, وَيَرْزُقُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ. Allah mentions whoever places his trust in Allah, He is sufficient for him. Whoever places his yaqeen in Allah, and undoubtedly Allah attains His purpose. Allah indeed has appointed a measure for everything to be taken care of. Everything has been taken care of. But we have to have yaqeen. Imam Ahmad Rida Khan Bareli Rahmatullah Alayhi then asks a question, and he says to us that whether you put your trust in him or not, you will only receive what is meant for you. ठीक है? But then Allah Hazrat says, therefore why do we deprive ourselves of the reward of trusting Allah Jalla Jalaluhu? Just by trusting Allah, there is so much reward from us. And the great Sheikh of Baghdad, Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Jilani rahimahullah, he narrates that, oh, the people who worship and with an absent and a dead heart. So Zur Ghaus Pak radiallahu ta'ala mentions those people who worship with the absent and dead heart. They're doing worship without sincerity. They're just doing it. They're just fulfilling their requirements. Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani Pirani Pir Dastagir mentions that those people who worship with the absent and a dead heart, your likeness is the likeness of a donkey that has his eyes blindfolded while turning at the mill. The mill is something the donkey keeps going round. He said the donkey, when he's blindfolded and he's going round the mill, he thinks he has walked many, many, many miles. But in fact, he is still in the same place where he started. He's still in the same place. Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani mentions, so if we are sincere towards Almighty Allah in our worship, then our minds would never think of our family, our businesses, our stresses. We would never think of any ibadah if we were sincere to Allah. So if we are still thinking in our ibadah, it comes in mind, our family, my stress, my shopping, this, that. That means sincerity is not there yet. We need to work on our sincerity. Sincerity is praying salah not for Jannah. Sincerity, the door, if someone can check this please, it's open. Jazakallah. Sincerity is not praying for Jannah. You know those people say, why am I praying? I'm praying for Jannatul Firdaus. Sincerity is not praying for Jannah. It is praying for the sake of Almighty Allah. Sincerity is not fasting in Ramadan for Jannah. It is fasting for the sake of Almighty Allah. Not Jannah will come when you do it for the sake of Almighty Allah. Sincerity is not looking for worldly praises, that you've done a good job, you've done a great job. It is for doing everything only for the sake of Allah. That remember, it is mentioned by the great awliya Allah, that those people say that I try to be sincere, it is so difficult, I'm suffering. My child becomes ill, my family has difficulties, I face so many difficulties, shaitan attacks me, I can't read salah. Though it is very important, a great man of Almighty Allah, Ahlullah, he mentioned that the trustworthy person undergoes change 40 times in one day. A trustworthy person, he undergoes change and difficulty 40 times in a day. So if you are trying to be sincere, the awliya Allah, the Ahlullah are mentioning, those people who complain about difficulty, hardships, how do I be sincere, how do I have ikhlas, is suffering. The awliya Allah have mentioned, the person who is trying to be sincere, the person who is trying to be good, they're trying to be walk the path of the Ahlullah. He mentioned that that person will experience 40 different changes in one day. That is how difficult it will be, whereby the hypocrite will say in the same state for 40 years. The hypocrite, the munafiqun, will stay there for 40 years. My dearest listeners, what does this mean? That we have to endure difficulties. 40 changes in a day. If you're trying to be good, you will have 40 issues or changes in one day. That is how difficult it is. But the path to Jannatul Firdaus is a difficult path. It is not easy to attain. We must understand that sincerity is based upon the deeds that we do. They are either accepted or rejected because of ikhlas. That is how important ikhlas is. And this is the cause for the ultimate success or failure. Or it can take you into Jannah or Jahannam. Ikhlas. That is what ikhlas is. And there's 3 points which I want to mention, one today inshallah, of how to attain sincerity. And the first point is inshallah, and this is where we'll end and we'll come back next week inshallah. I wanted to speak to you about something else, but inshallah we will come. There's a few brothers asking questions in terms of visiting the mazarat of awliya Allah, asking dua from the awliya Allah, and what is the stance in Islam regarding visiting the mazarat of awliya Allah, asking dua through the awliya Allah. So I wanted to touch on this topic, but I won't today. We'll leave it for another time. It's a very detailed discussion, but inshallah according to Sunnah and Hadith of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, I will bring this to your attention as well. The first point of sincerity, and this is where you need to remember, all of the brothers and sisters here need to remember how to earn sincerity inshallah. Make an intention every morning that when you wake up, that all good acts throughout the day I will do today will be for the sole sake of Almighty Allah. Make this intention. Every morning you wake up, make one intention that every act I do in the day, everything I do, even if it's going out, if it's driving my car, if it's going to my office, today every act that I will do for the sole sake of Almighty Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. I will invite people towards Islam. This is very important. Sincerity, I will invite people towards Islam. We must constantly make dua to Almighty Allah that Allah gives us steadfastness in making these intentions on a daily basis, because Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned how important it is your intention. So we must plead, we must beg to Almighty Allah for our own accord that we can achieve nothing without the help of Allah. Say, Ya Allah, we can't. Are we giving lectures for people to say, I done good or you done good? This is not sincerity. This is not ikhlas. Ikhlas is that is from the heart. You're only doing it for the sake of Allah Jalla Jalla. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. But if you come out here and say, wah, wah, how did I do? Wah, I want to listen to the wah. I want to listen to the subhanallah. I want to read not. I want people to say subhanallah because I enjoy it, because they're enjoying my voice. You need to ask yourself, what is the reason you are sitting on this stage today? Are you sitting for the fame of these people, or are we sitting for the sake of Allah Almighty Allah? This will determine whether you are sincere or not. Allah protect us from insincerity, because one act of insincerity, it is so difficult that I will mention and end on this. Ikhlas, sincerity is ikhlas. It is a motivation of one's actions. That is what ikhlas is. And everything to be only for the sake and the pleasure of Almighty Allah. We could be doing anything. Like I give you such a great example that intention is so powerful. The intention, the niyyah, and everyone pay attention inshallah. It is so powerful. Just example, a student of biology. Yeah, you've heard the biology. You know, a student goes and studies biology, and in many years, and this student with a niyyah that I will study medicine, and I will become a doctor, and I will earn money for myself, for my personal greed, for my selfishness. That's what it is. If you're talking and making du'as like this, for my personal greed, for my selfishness, for my family members, I will become this doctor, I will study biology, and I will make all the money. Now this person, in this case, there's no reward for them studying biology. They can study for 15, 20 years, there is no reward. But that same person, if we educate our children and we teach our children, that same person, they change the niyyah, they change the intention, that today I will study biology to ponder over the creation of Almighty Allah. Today I will study biology for 10 years to ponder or help the creation of Almighty Allah and to serve the humanity with the skills that I learned. Then every moment spent in that act is rewardable for that person. Gee, what was it? A change of intention, yes? Just a change of intention. Not thinking that I'm going to do it for mal. Mal will come if you are sincere and you're doing it for the creation of Almighty Allah will give you mal. وَيَمْكُرُونَ وَيَمْكُرُ اللَّهُ وَاللَّهُ خَيْرُ الْمَاكِرِينَ. He is the best of planners. But we have to take that fear out, that if I say this, that I'm doing it for this, then what if I don't get money? I'm doing it for my family. No, take it out of your mind. That same person change the intention that I'm doing it to help the makhlooq of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, then numerous rewards will descend upon that person. So what do? Change the intention and do it out of sincerity. And don't do your ibadah for people to look at. Sit down. Before you go to lectures, we have this system over here. I use it myself. Before I come out to give a lecture, before I go out to speak on Jummah, I beg Allah. I said, Ya Allah, take that fame away, take that name away, take that taqabbur away. Don't give me a bit of that insincerity, because as soon as that comes in, everything I do is wasted. Everything we do is wasted. And if we're doing it for dunya, for naam, for name around this dunya, then if we're doing it for this purpose, then we will be rewarded by insan in the dunya, but not by the Creator. And we will waste everything. So what do we want? Fix our intentions. I'm reading hifz, I'm studying hifz, I'm reading taraweeh, I'm giving lectures, I'm reading naat for the students as well. Fix your intention. Beg Allah, Ya Allah, do not put any of that takabbur in my heart. Because as soon as that enter your heart, all the iman leaves your heart. All the iman leaves your heart. If we do it for the sake of Allah. Not for Jannah, for the sake of Allah Almighty. So inshallah, next week, I will complete this lecture because it's still another half an hour is left. But we will complete it next week, inshallah, and speak on the next week, inshallah, just touching on that small topic of the awliya Allah. We have 2 minutes, that's why. A person, when he visits mazarat, we send Isa alayhi swab upon the awliya Allah. So you read Surah Fatih, you read Surah Ikhlas, you say, Ya Allah, the Isa alayhi swab to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all the prophets, Sahaba Ikram, Ahlul Bayt, and especially where I am standing here today. Now there's 2 ways. Someone can say that, Ya Allah, with the wasila of this awliya Allah, I'm here today. Ya Allah, accept my du'as. Or the other person could then say, Ya Ghaus al-Azam, please help. You hear people saying this. You read the Khatam al-Qadiriyah, Ya Ghaus al-Azam, please help. So how can Ghaus al-Azam help? This is shirk. This is what people will claim. But again, it comes with the intention. If someone asks that Ya Ghaus al-Azam, and he's asking that he knows he wants Ghaus al-Azam to help through the will of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, and that Ghaus al-Azam is dependent on Allah, then it is not shirk. But if this person thinks Ghaus al-Azam is independent, then it is shirk. Because no one is independent. Everything happens by the will of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. So for example, if we say, no, this is shirk, this is not allowed, we can't do this. Then for example, look, if we go to a doctor today, oh doctor, can you help me? I'm not feeling well. I need medicine. And if we think that doctor can cure us, this is shirk. This is shirk. But if you think that that doctor is dependent on Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, then it's not shirk. It's not shirk. Because we're going to the doctor, we're asking for madad, isn't it? If we ask the doctor for medicine, we're not feeling well, you tell us what is wrong. Who is the doctor to tell you what is wrong? If we're asking, this is asking for help. So then that becomes shirk, isn't it? No, but the doctor is only in the dunya, he's living, he's alive, and that's why we are asking the dunya, because he's alive. So we can ask, it's not shirk to ask someone that is alive. This is the question that arises. But then Quran says, بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ وَلَكِنْ لَا تَشْعُرُونَ. The people who die in the way of Allah, they are not dead, they are alive. Samajh aa gaya? So then you are asking the people of Allah, but you are asking because you are knowing they are dependent to Allah. When you think someone is independent, that becomes shirk. But when you are thinking they are dependent, when you know they are dependent by the will of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, then you can ask. You say, Ya Allah, with the wasila of Ghaus Pak radiyallahu ta'ala, Ya Ghaus al-Azam al-Madad, Ya Ghaus al-Azam al-Madad, Ya Shaykh Abdul Qadir Shaykh al-Madad, because you know that they are dependent on Allah. As soon as you think they are independent, not only for the awliya Allah, but for the doctor and the hospitals you go to, then that becomes shirk as well. So even if you ask your doctor for medication today, as long as you know that this doctor is dependent on Allah, and Allah will provide the cure through the doctor, then it is okay. But as soon as you think that, no, only doctor, you can help me now, and it's out of your mind, out of Allah Jalla Jalla, then that becomes shirk for you to ask that doctor, because you're asking madad from someone apart from Allah Jalla Jalaluhu, and you think they are not going to get it from Allah, they are independent, so then this becomes shirk. So it's very important to understand. Let's not go down and making claims and stuff. People ask, you kiss the mazarat, or people, these are questions that come, why do you kiss the places of the jalis, and you go to the Prophet ﷺ and the awliya Allah and they kiss the jalis, what is this? And some people may bend forward to go and give that kiss. So if they do sajda to any of these mazarat, this is not allowed. But if they are going down in a position to kiss, with the intention to kiss, then it's totally permissible according to the aqaid of Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat and Imam Ahmad Raza Khan Birari rahmatullah alayh. So it's very important we understand the intention behind this. Are they going to worship that place, or are they going to take blessings and barakah mentioned in various places in the hadith and the saying of awliya Allah? We're getting connected to something from a person of Allah. Just getting connected to them is a blessing and barakah for us. So being close to them is also a blessing and barakah for us. And asking Allah through the wasila of those people is also a blessing and barakah for us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to open our minds and understand the beautiful sayings and the beautiful status and maqam of the people of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. And beware, don't mock these people, because Allah says in Quran, La khawfun alayhim wa lahum yahzanun. If you do not know about this, do not mock them. If you do not know, learn about it, but do not mock them. It's very important, because La khawfun alayhim wa lahum yahzanun, that they have no fear and grief, Allah says in Quran. So beware, inshallah. May Allah give us the strength and ability to act upon what I have said. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept what I have said. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from takabbur, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us sincerity in everything. Ameen wa ma tawfiqi illa billah. Jazakumullah khair. Inshallah, Khatam Sharif will be read. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد ولم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. إن رحمة الله قريب من المحسنين وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. ما كان محمد أبا أحد من رجالكم ولكن رسول الله وخاتم النبيين وكان الله بكل شيء عليما. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك وسلم عليه. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Inshallah, Lazim, dua request is important. Everyone say Ameen together, because one day we will be in need of these duas as well. Please, my humble request from the heart, say Ameen for anyone's dua that we take their name. Dua for Sister Shamima, whose dad passed away today. Allahu Akbar, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Allah grant her Jannatul Firdaus. Dua for an auntie who had a stroke. Allah grant her Shifai Kamila. Dua for an auntie who is undergoing treatment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant her Shifai Kamila. She's our sister that used to come here all the time for the Ihya gathering. She's going under some heavy treatments. Allah make it easy. Allah grant Shifai Kamila. Dua for Nadeem Sahib and his family. Allah grant them blessing and barakah. With the sadaqah of Habib alayhi salatu wasalam. Dua for Sayyid Sahib and his family. Allah grant them blessing and barakah. Ameen. Dua for Sister Tasneem and her family. Allah grant them blessing and barakah. Dua for Zaid uncle's parents. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them blessing and barakah. Dua for brother Mubin's visa application. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him the best solution and whatever the best decision is. Ameen thumma ameen. Dua for Sister Iqra's health. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant her Shifai Kamila. Dua for Habib Mahad's family. Allah grant them blessing and barakah. Dua for Atif Pai and his family, Allah grant them blessing and barakah. With the sadaqah of Habib alayhi salatu wasalam, dua for brother Shakil and his family, Allah grant them blessing and barakah. Dua for Ali Bai's family, Allah grant them blessing and barakah. Dua for Muhammad Ahmad for his work permit issues, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for him with the sadaqah of Habib alayhi salatu wasalam. Dua for Muhammad Farid for blessings, Allah grant him blessing and barakah. Dua for Muhammad Naushad for immigration issues, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for him, whatever his difficulties are. Ameen thumma ameen. Dua for brother Saqib who have organized the food today. Special du'as for his parents and children for blessings and good health. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them blessing and barakah. Dua for Abdul Qayyum for blessings. Allah grant them blessing and barakah. Dua for Tanveer Hussain who has immigration issues. Allah grant them blessing and barakah. Dua for Palestine and Gaza. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect the brothers and sisters of Palestine and Gaza. 26 Surah Yasin's 153,000 Durood Sharif. Food list is empty. If brothers want to put their names in and fill it in, inshallah al-azim. It's important that everyone tries to put their names for the langar, inshallah al-azim. Dua will be made now. Please, with your heart, it's important, say Ameen. So many people speak and we hear of this, that they sat in the Ihya gathering, they sent dua requests. Wallahi al-azim, more than 15-20 people that I can bring and ask, show you, they say the duas that were made in the Ihya gathering, our duas are accepted. Why? Qudrat ilahi, sadqa nabi. And wallahi lazim, I tell them, and it's not Hafiz Osman, Hafiz Waqas, Hafiz Afan sitting. Wallah, we are nothing. We are slaves of this religion. But it is in every 40 people, one is awliya Allah. In every 40 people, one is awliya Allah. And in every 40 Ameens, one is accepted. So we have 40 every week. We have a great chance of our acceptance of du'as. So that is why it is everyone's dua that help these brothers and sisters accept their du'as. So it's important everyone say Ameen together, inshallah al-azim. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى ال محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم يا كريم يا غفار يا حل المشكلات يا دافع البليات يا دافع البليات يا دافع البليات يا شافي الأمراض يا شافي الأمراض يا شافي الأمراض يا أرحم الراحمين. يا رسول الله انظر حالنا. يا حبيب الله اسمع قالنا. إنني في بحر غم مغرق خذ يدي سهل لنا أشكالنا فسهل يا إلهي كل صعب بحرمة سيد الأبرار. يا حضرة السلطان شيخ سيد الشيخ عبد القادر الجيلاني شيئا لله المدد. هاجي خواجة كتب فريد حق فريد يا فريد حق فريد يا فريد حق فريد يا فريد. اللهم رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. اللهم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم وننزل من القرآن ما هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين ولا يزيد الظالمين إلا خسارا. کرم مانگتا ہوں عطا مانگتا ہوں الہی میں تجھ سے دعا مانگتا ہوں. یا الہی ہر جگہ تیری عطا کا ساتھ ہو. جب بڑے مشکل شہ مشکل کشا کا ساتھ ہو. یا اللہ یا رحمان یا رحیم یا کریم ہو بذل قرآن شفاء کاملہ. یا اللہ with the صدقہ of Habib alayhi salatu wassalam. Ya Rabbil Alameen, with the nazar of the awliya Allah Khwaja Gharib Nawaz Ghaus Pak radiallahu ta'ala anhu, with the face of our great Murshid, Ya Rabbil Alameen, whoever's du'as have been taken here, Ya Allah, accept the du'as in your barakah. Whoever is ill, Ya Rabbil Alameen, grant them shifa kamila. Whoever has immigration issues, any problems, Ya Allah, with the sadaqah of your Habib, grant them solutions. With the wasila of Ghaus Pak radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Khwaja Gharib Nawaz, Ya Rabbil Alameen, accept these du'as in your barakah. Ya Rabbil Alameen, accept this mahafil. Ya Allah, grant us sukoon from this mahafil. Ya Allah, grant us peace from the zikr of Allah. Ya Rabbil Alameen, the brothers and sisters are ill, Ya Rabbil Alameen, grant them all shifa kamila. Ya Allah, we beg you, dua, Ya Rabbil Alameen, only you can accept. Ya Allah, accept our du'as in your barakah. Ya Allah, whoever is ill sitting here today, Ya Allah, accept their du'as and grant everyone shifa kamila. Ya Allah, everyone sitting here today, grant us the ziyarah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah, give us the call to visit Makkatul Mukarramah and Madinatul Munawwara. Ya Rabbil Alameen, allow us to visit the lands of the Ahlullah again and again. Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Rahman Rahimeen, our brother Saqib has organized the food today. Ya Rabbil Alameen, grant his parents blessing and barakah. Ya Allah, grant them long and healthy lives. Ya Rabbil Alameen, grant his family and his children blessing and barakah. Ya Allah, allow his children to grow up serving the deen of Islam. Ya Rabbil Alameen, our brothers and sisters in Palestine, Ya Rabbil Alameen, in Gaza, Ya Rabbil Alameen, in Aqsa, Aqsa, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, from the ghaib, Ya Allah, provide them as Salahuddin Ayyubi. Ya Rabbil Alameen, they are in so much difficulty, Ya Allah, they suffer. Every day the videos are coming, Ya Allah, it is becoming so difficult to even open our social medias. Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen, children are left without mothers. Ya Rabbil Alameen, their arms are off their bodies. Ya Rabbil Alameen, their legs are off their bodies. Ya Rabbil Alameen, Wallahi al-Azim, Ya Allah, we can beg you, Ya Allah, we beg you, you are the one, Ya Allah. Karam mangata hu, ata mangata hu, ilahi main tujhse dua mangata hu. Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen, please, Ya Allah, please, Ya Allah, provide a ghaib madad to the people of Palestine. Ya Allah, protect these families. Ya Allah, full families are leaving the dunya. Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Rahman Rahim, they are suffering, they are in so much difficulty. Ya Rabbil Alameen, every day a baby is being looked for underneath the mitti. Ya Allah, Ya Rabbil Alameen, protect them. Ya Rabbil Alameen, protect Al-Aqsa. Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Rahman Rahim, Ya Kareem, allow us, Ya Rabbil Alameen, to join with them, Ya Rabbil Alameen, by donating, Ya Rabbil Alameen, by begging for dua, Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Rahman Rahim, Ya Kareem, Ya Kareem, Ya Kareem. Please, Ya Rabbil Alameen, protect them. Ya Allah, those children, those sisters who wake up every single morning getting prepared because they don't know if they will become shaheed. Ya Rabbil Alameen, protect them. Ya Rabbil Alameen, the ones who are ill, grant them shifa kamila. Ya Allah, allow the world to unite and stand, Ya Rabbil Alameen, for Palestine. Ya Rabbil Alameen, allow us to stop being puppets, Ya Rabbil Alameen, and fight for Palestine. Ya Rabbil Alameen, allow us to make sure our voice is heard for the Palestinian brothers and sisters. Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Kareem, they are so in so much difficulty. Ya Allah, it hurts, it pains, Ya Rabbil Alameen. We are living such a luxury life. We wake up, our children wake up healthy, they eat food, we go out, we move around. Ya Allah, where they can't move, Ya Rabbil Alameen. They are living in a prison, Ya Rabbil Alameen. They are living in an open prison, Ya Rabbil Alameen. They are living in a difficulty as hostages, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Rabb, Ya Rabb, Ya Rabb, Ya Rabb, Ya Kareem, Ya Allah, Ya Jalla Jalaluhu, Ya Jalla Shanuhu, Ya Amman Amwaluhu. Ya Allah, with the sadaqah of Muhammadur Rasulullah, you accepted the forgiveness of Adam alayhi salam. Ya Allah, with the same sadaqah of Rasulullah, Ya Rabbil Alameen, provide madad to the Palestinians. Provide madad, Ya Rabbil Alameen, to the brothers and sisters of Palestine, to the brothers and sisters and children of Gaza, Ya Rabbil Alameen, protect them. Ya Allah, please, Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Allah, please, Ya Rabbil Alameen, grant them shifa kamila. Ya Rabbil Alameen, allow them to see their children, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Allow, Ya Rabbil Alameen, the hukumat, the stand, Ya Rabbil Alameen, for Palestine, for Masjid Al-Aqsa. Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Kareem, Ya Kareem, Ya Kareem, please, Ya Allah. Send someone, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Send a Salahuddin Ayyubi, Ya Allah. Ya Rabbil Alameen, to protect the Palestinians. Ya Allah, allow us to do as much as we can to protect them, to provide for them, to send, Ya Rabbil Alameen. From what you have given us, allow us to send some, Ya Rabbil Alameen, to these countries, Ya Rabbil Alameen, so that help can be provided, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Rabbil Alameen, we beg you once more. There is nothing but dua that, Ya Rabbil Alameen, can change the fate of the Palestinians. Ya Rabbil Alameen, like in Surah Fil, in different surahs where birds had taken out the whole army. Ya Allah, send something like this over the Palestinians. Ya Rabbil Alameen, send something that they are protected, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Rahman Rahimeen, from the ghaib, from the unseen, provide madad to the Palestinians. Ya Rabbil Alameen, there's a sister's dad who has just celebrated his 80th birthday. Ya Rabbil Alameen, grant him blessing and barakah. Ya Allah, grant him many more healthy years. Ya Rabbil Alameen, allow him and allow us to see Palestine free one day. Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Rabbil Alameen, allow us to see Palestine free. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad wa barik wa sallim. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.